Attention women's wrestling fans and wrestling collectors. Ring Post Journal's 2021 Women's Wrestling Year in Review is now available worldwide on Amazon. This year's book includes an industry news timeline, event results from all around the globe, the top 10 stories of the year, win-loss records, and comprehensive statistic-based wrestler rankings for WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling, NWA, and Ring of Honor. All of this plus a one-on-one interview with Maria Canales-Bennett as she explains the process behind rebuilding Ring of Honor's women's division. A portion of the proceeds will also be donated to a mental health organization in honor of the late Daphne. Happy reading, and author Colby Applegate thanks you for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 240 of a Wrestling Gal podcast, providing you with the female perspective on all things wrestling. Join me, your host and wrestling enthusiast, Ella J. As today, I am joined by a West Coast sensation, Macdaddy Milo. Now let's chat. Hello, everybody. Today I am joined by Macdaddy Milo. So how are you doing today?
Hi there. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I mean, we already made a good friend here. So we'll start off before we get into all things wrestling. Tell me about your adorable dog that is sitting right beside you.
This is Veda.
Aww.
And she thinks she's the star of the show. It's fine. We'll just tell her that she is the star of the show. She is adopted, and I don't know how old she is, but you know, this is definitely still my child. She's my little emotional support dog. So
I feel you. I have 2 cats and they're my fur babies.
Oh yeah. See, like millennials have like, you know, we have dogs and cats, you know, like it's just how it is, huh?
Now, how long have you had Veda?
About 2 years now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 2 years. She was a little bit of a mess. This little dog here was a stray, and she did this. She gave me her paw through the cage, and I was like, "Oh, you're coming home with me."
Yeah, I choose you.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my God. Mix. That's adorable. What kind of mix again?
She's like a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix. Oh, very cute.
All the love. Valentine's Day was yesterday, Veda.
Oh, right.
Come
on, lay down. It's okay. You can do it. Oh,
that's adorable. Like, I just want to be a part, mommy. Oh my God.
And you know, like, I just think that I deserve to be on this podcast.
So Veda, tell me the truth about Mylo. What are her dark secrets?
He knows them all. It's funny. She actually watches wrestling with me.
Really?
Watch the TV. Yeah, I'll have to just send you a picture on Instagram or a video. I have so many. She just watches it. She's into it.
Is there any wrestlers where she like wags her tail like very rapidly when watching them?
I wish, but she just like kind of lays there and she'll just watch while she's laying down with her eyes on the screen. I was like, are you a student of the game?
Maybe. I mean, training one day. I mean, you might be, I don't know if it's been done before. You might be the first person to have a professionally trained wrestling dog.
Oh my gosh, I've thought about it. I can't say that I haven't thought about it. I can just imagine her like on her 2 feet on the apron, just like barking, and like she would be a great manager, you know?
I think she could do a crossbody too, though.
Yeah. She's a definite heel, though. That's for sure.
Got that attitude, huh? Sometimes. My cats, though, I know, like they will literally watch the TV too. It's not so much wrestling, but just like random things. They will just like be so engaged, and I'm like, how do you even understand that?
Yeah, animals are built different these days, honestly.
I know they're very attentive though. But I mean, does Veda too have any weird quirks or habits? Because my cats have some very strange things that they do.
She's very weird.
Okay.
very odd. She likes when I throw a ball, she'll chase it, pass it, go by to it, and then roll on it and just roll on her back. And like she smiles at me upside down. It's actually kind of the cutest thing. Oh, she just left. So
She's like, I hear you talking about me.
She's like,
She'll be back.
Oh yeah.
That's adorable though. And I mean, I've seen you two take your dog to the beach, and I know you are one who appears to love the outdoors and nature, would you say?
Yeah, for sure. I have my days, I will say, but when I'm like out and about and like, getting the vitamin D, I'm like, man, I should do this more often. But
Yeah, I mean, especially too in like the pandemic and stuff where a lot of things were like closed for a while, it's probably nice to get back outside.
definitely. So when I do get out to the beach, I'm like, I should do this more often. I should do it more. But life.
You're still in California, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have a lot of beaches near you, I'm betting.
Yes, I currently reside in Huntington Beach, so we have a dog beach right there, and she loves it. It's dogs everywhere. It's kind of amazing.
There you go. What is the most spontaneous adventure you've ever been on? Because I just scrolling through your Instagram and your aesthetics, you've definitely been to some like cool locations, it seems.
You know what? I would say the most spontaneous thing I did was move here. I'm from Virginia.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I'm going to California. I had finished community college, and then I was like, I don't want to go to university. So I was like, what do I want to do? And I was like, well, I don't want to live here anymore. I want to go somewhere where I've always wanted to go. So California. And I packed everything I owned in my car, and I drove with my friends, and they ended up flying back, and I had like $1,500 to my name. I was in a hotel for like 2 days because I had no solid plan, So I eventually found like a room for rent. And then from there, I was like, all right, I need to figure out what I want to do with my life. I need to figure out like where I'm going. Am I going to go to a university, even though I feel like school's not really for me? I feel like I was just kind of thinking about that because that's what my family wanted me to do. And then I found wrestling. And so I was like, I remember when I wanted to do this as a kid. So I looked into it, and that's where I found you go to like a wrestling school, and then that's where you get your reps in, and then go out on the indies, and then you get picked up. And it kind of fell into place like that. I would say that's probably the most spontaneous thing I've ever done. It all fell into place,
I was going to ask you about that in a bit, but how long? So you're going from East Coast to West Coast. How many days, like how long was that actual journey getting from Virginia to California?
I left on a Monday night and I got here on a Thursday night. We ended up stopping a few places, but for the most part, I had my two other friends with me. My one friend had the morning shift. I had afternoon, and my other friend had night. We just switched like that. So yeah, about 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, that's thousands and thousands of miles right there too. And that's traveling a long way spontaneously. So obviously, like you were drawn to California for some reason. Was that something you had always wanted to do, or was it just spontaneous with really no reason why?
I've always wanted to do it, and I was like, you know what? I'm 22 years old. I'm just gonna freaking do it, So my main thing was I couldn't think about it. I'm an overthinker, and then I get anxiety. If I think about things, it won't happen. So I have to just like do it, So that's what I did to get here. And I kind of did the same with wrestling. I was like, I'm going to sign up. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to think about any like pros, cons. Like I'm just going to do it.
Especially too, and I mean, when you moved, like you said, you came back to pro wrestling again. So I guess really what or who rejuvenated you back onto that sport?
So I actually watched as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch with my mom, and I actually grew up around like a lot of boys. So I hung out with boys, watched it, played the video games. I was really into it. And then about like end of middle school, high school, I fell off. I just fell off a little bit. And then I refound it again, funnily, through Total Divas. And that's when I came across the episode where Eva Marie was training at Santino Bros. And she said, I'm training out in LA. And I remember pausing it and being like, whoa, I can do this, like it's attainable, because I live in Orange County. So I was like, I can drive to LA and do this. I remember I wanted to do this. This is when I was like kind of lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like not too sure what I wanted to do. So then I looked it up, and then I would go to the website and then like be like, no, no, no. And then I'd go to the website again, and then I'd be like, no, no, no. So that went on for a few months. And then I I got in a really bad car accident.
My God.
It was like really awful. And it put so much in perspective where I was like, if I'm gonna do something, I already moved from one side of the country to the other. I might as well keep going. And so that's what I did. And finally made it to training, and then it's been history since then.
Yeah, I mean, when you finally put that application into Santino Bros, it probably like was a huge weight lifted off of you. But so car accident, what were your injuries sustained from that? Were they like major?
Bruised rib. I had to go to a chiropractor 3 times a week for a year.
Oh my God.
To align my spine and everything. The car I was in wasn't at fault. I was in the back seat. So it was just this whole thing. I had to go through a lawyer, and he hooked me up with the chiropractor, which that helped me when I first started training, I will say, because I was getting adjusted 3 times a week, and that actually saved me a lot, with everything we go through.
I mean, especially too, thank God it wasn't worse, especially if you're trying to chase this dream of pro wrestling. So when you initially started that training, did you kind of have to have any, obviously you probably had to disclose to them like prior injuries, yada, yada. Was there anything though that you like couldn't fully do right off the bat because you were kind of still recovering?
Neck bridges. I remember that distinctly. And it's even a stretch, so it's good, but my neck was still killing me. I was like, I can't do neck bridges. Like, it really doesn't feel too good. So I couldn't do that for a few weeks after, but after all the other training, it ended up being okay. And like I said, the adjustments 3 times a week were really helping.
Yeah, that's good too. That's a long time to like rehabbing for a year, basically. But I mean, you got right into it too. Did you have any like prior like experience in performance arts or sports or anything going in? So you just went in complete. Okay, that makes it even cooler, I think.
I think so too. It's actually funny. I was the kind of kid who went to school and went home.
Oh my God.
I didn't do anything. So yeah, it was a total like transformation for sure. So it was a learning experience. It still is a learning experience, I will say.
Definitely too. So as one who was not maybe involved in extracurriculars, what were when you were younger, like what were your passions or like favorite subjects in school then? If you even had any, I should say. Okay,
I really
fair.
did not like school. I would get to school and just count the hours so it was done. Graduation day was the best day of my life. My 10-year reunion's coming up. Not going. I don't even know what it is. Maybe because I was like kind of forced to do it, but I just didn't really like school. So that's why, what, funnily enough, community college I liked. I did like that a lot. And
Were you just going for the general like associates or like were you going for okay, makes sense.
General associates, and I actually really liked college, which was funny. I think I really struggled in school. I think maybe like pressures from your peers kind of thing, and like fitting in, whatever.
Yeah.
But got to college and breezed right through it.
College is a whole other ball game. I mean, there's groups and stuff, but it's big enough to where even if there is cliques, like it's not like I don't know how to explain it. There's multiple things you could fit into. It's not like that exclusive. Or does that make sense? I don't know.
For sure. And making my own schedule, I sleep in. So that has a lot to do with it too. Like all my classes started after 11. Like when I had to wake up early for school, I just wasn't about that.
That was me. Freshman year, I made the mistake of having a 9 a.m. and I was like, never again. So I didn't have anything earlier than 11 a.m. Like the sophomore, junior, senior year. I feel you.
You can handle it because you're like, oh, I did this in school. No, you can't. It's not.
No, we used to be able to wake up at like 6, 7, 8 a.m. And then once you get to college, you're like, I can sleep in because I think because we go to bed so late too, a lot of the times. It's just not.
Yeah, we wake up at 6 and like doing makeup and stuff. Like what? How? No idea.
Exactly.
No clue.
So what was like when you were younger? Was it always wrestling, or like what was your childhood career aspiration when you were younger? I feel like we all had at least one. I wanted to be a cheerleader. For some reason, I never cheerleaded a day in my life though.
We all reached for the stars, you know? So it's funny, I actually have in my third grade yearbook written down. I'm a pretty indecisive person, so I would scratch things out and rewrite things. So one thing, God, one said bus driver, and then it said lifeguard, and then I scratched all that out and I wrote WWE diva, SmackDown or Raw. You know, whoever wants me, I'll take it. That's exactly what I wrote. It's funny. I think I got drawn to it because growing up, I just really I loved Tori Wilson. That was my main inspiration. I loved her, loved her so much. Like so much where I would play the video games with my friends and they would try and pick Tori Wilson and I would unplug the PlayStation. No, don't get it twisted. I'm Tori Wilson, you know? So I think I like clicked with her and I was like, I want to be just like her, you know? And
What about her? Because I feel like she's a WWE Hall of Famer, but honestly, I haven't heard too many people who say like Tori's my girl, especially during that era where it was like Trish, Lita, Mickey. You could have said Sable, Victoria. I feel like Tori's not one that many choose. So what about her captivated you? Obviously, probably besides her adorable dog.
I agree. And when I do tell people that, they're like, are you kidding me? I get made fun of her, but I don't care. I think it was her confidence and just how she presented herself. You know, I watch her matches back now, knowing what I know, and I'm like, oh God. But she still did it with the best confidence and like she put her all into it. And I think I just really aspired how much self-love that she had. And she was so beautiful, you know? I think it was just everything about her just captivated me, from her looks, not only her looks, but her personality and how she carried herself.
No, but like I said, Tori, like I said, is very underrated. She wasn't your wrestler. But she fulfilled and embraced her role, I think, very perfectly, especially during that attitude era into the ruthless aggression era where they weren't getting a lot of opportunities. And she was involved in some very infamous storylines, and it really embraced it though. And I feel like she's a WWE Hall of Famer for a reason. So
I agree. I think my favorite was when Dawn Marie married her dad.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I really liked that toughness she put into that match. You know, that storyline build up to their match. It was just perfect. I loved every minute of it.
Absolutely amazing. Now, have you been able to meet Tori Wilson at all?
Not yet,
No.
but it's going to happen. I'm going to just let it happen. You know, like I want to eventually, you know, like have my match or what. Like I don't want to like go out of my way to meet her, of course. I just kind of want it to happen and then it just be that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that'll happen one day.
I mean, not all people get to meet their idols. So I really hope for you that it does get to happen, especially too, as somebody, I mean, you traveled all the way across I was about to say across the world, across the United States. So for you, you've gotten used to the East Coast growing up, now you're West Coast. Would you say that there's a big difference between the attitudes? Okay. What's the biggest difference for you between East Coast and West Coast?
The food's way better on the West Coast, I will have to say. Food's amazing here. Attitude wise, there is a little shift, I would say, but all in all, I think people are, you know, their own individual selves. So I do live in Orange County. It's not the best here, you know, but I would say the biggest culture shock was traffic and how, you know, getting from one place to another, you know, it may be 30 miles, but you're gonna be getting there in like an hour, you know,
instead of like a half hour. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. I could not do the traffic. Now in Virginia, were you more towards country, city, or like suburbs?
City.
City.
I'm from Virginia Beach, so I went from beach to beach.
Yeah.
Literally.
But still, I've heard LA or California traffic is crazy. I could never do that.
It's pretty bad. So I I'm doing shows at Millennium Pro Wrestling, which is up in the valley.
Yeah.
So it takes about 2 hours to get there. So I
Oh my
have my my
God.
playlist on deck and I'm just in it. I'm ready for the ride, but going home, I'm definitely pushing 80, like going in and out.
Well, I mean, when it's nighttime, I don't know. I feel like that's also a city that never sleeps, or a state that never sleeps is California.
For sure. It's a lot better at night, but yeah, prime time, call time, at 5. Gotta leave my house at like 3.
Yeah, definitely, girl. I mean, too, and when you made this move, I know you're good friends with Viva Van, it seems. Do
Yeah,
you recall, like, after you made this move, who became some of your biggest mentors or best friends? I would assume Viva is probably one of them.
definitely Viva. Me and her clicked, right away. Me and her can be on the phone for like 3 hours and it feels like 10 minutes. We just cannot stop running out of things to talk about. I learned a lot. I try to keep to myself a lot and just choose really, really close people. I will say I'm getting better. I'm starting to get really close to people at Millennium Pro Wrestling as well, such as Barbie Boy, Johnny Robbie. Um, but for the most part, I would say like, Viva just plays a pretty big role as like my best friend in wrestling.
Definitely too in that. I mean, she's been taking over like the West Coast, has like 4 or 5 championships to her
Yeah.
name right now. She's taking over, but you got to
Oh,
get some tag team championships right in there, I feel like.
we definitely do.
Mhm. I just think that's so important too. And you've like established yourself really well over your last few years. And I know one of your biggest goals is to make yourself proud. So, what are a few things personally or professionally that you are particularly proud of within your life?
So far, I'm really proud that I got out there. It was actually really hard for me to debut because, I looked at Tori Wilson. She was my idol for reasons such as her confidence. I really lacked that when I started training. I lacked it really hard. I couldn't. My promos were really bad. Moves were there, psychology was kind of there, but who was Milo? No one knew. It was really hard for me to kind of get out of my shell for that. That was going on for like about 2 years, I would say. So I would say something that is a huge accomplishment for me was just getting out of that shell and just trying to show who I am. And since then, I've been going to Arizona. I've been getting bookings in Vegas. I'm getting bookings outside of California, even in NorCal. And it's just, I have to take a step back and be like, I remember when I thought this wasn't attainable. I thought I couldn't do it. And yeah.
I feel like that's something I've struggled with too, like just in life and a lot of people is like self-confidence and like self-doubt, especially when you're going into something that you have like no background in. You're just betting on yourself. I feel like again, that's something to be proud of too, is like betting on yourself and going into something where you don't necessarily have the background for it, but you're passionate about it. And I feel like not a lot of people have the courage to do that.
I agree. And it still works in progress. I
Of
can't lie,
course.
but one day at a time.
Of course, too. And I mean, as you're ever evolving yourself, I feel like we all have like different goals or new skills that we want to learn. So for you, like personally or professionally in or outside of the ring, if you could learn one new skill, what would it be and why?
Hmm. I think if I could learn one new skill in or outside the ring, it would probably be to not spend so much money on food,
That's
Maybe
the
like,
story of my life with
you
like
know?
Grubhub. It's very
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. I wish I could just like, I'll look at a $20 shirt and be like, oh, I don't know about that. But dropping $20 on DoorDash from In-N-Out, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. You know?
I know you love your Starbucks too.
Yeah.
So what does your go-to Starbucks order usually look like?
Cold brew coffee with oat milk. Very boring and bitter, but it wakes me up and does the job. I actually have to reduce my sugar intake because I get the jitters, I get gnarly headaches from sugar. I've actually had to cut back on I was never really a big drinker, just a social drinker, but I even had to cut back on that because the sugar just gives me the gnarliest headaches. So that's why I try to just keep all the things that I ingest boring.
I mean, I'm pretty plain with my food too. I I normally go and get one thing from like Starbucks, and it's like
Yeah.
a caramel ribbon crunch. That's about it.
Ooh.
I love my caramel. That's the thing I get every time. I'm very predictable.
Yeah.
So
Okay. No, it's amazing. That sounds so good.
now maybe it is the drink you just named, but what was your most recent Starbucks order? It probably was that was.
It was, and I added 2 pumps caramel.
I love girl, I love caramel. Like I don't know why. I love it in candy, like in hot chocolate, like just those shots of caramel is really good.
It's so good. And Starbucks uh caramel syrup is amazing.
Mhm.
I love it. You know,
Underappreciated.
that- he's going a little tangent right there. It's okay.
Yeah, and so I mean, when you're traveling to obviously like you meet or at home, but when you're traveling, do you kind of have any road trip music playlists or songs that you usually listen to?
Oh yeah, I have a manifesting playlist. So I listen to that when I'm like, okay, this is just I'm manifesting good intentions. A lot of it's like Nicki Minaj or Ariana Grande, but it helps me get into that mood of like I'm following my dreams right now. And I'll even driving like, through from California, Arizona, that drive is very boring. But I look around, I'm like, look what I'm doing right now. I'm on the way to a show right now. This is what I've wanted to do, and I'm doing it. So I just need to take in these little things and just roll with punches.
Now, what is one song that you like have on repeat on that playlist? Because I feel like we all have one song, whether it's right now or all time, that we can just play it looped forever.
I would say right now it's I'm the Best by Nicki Minaj. It's off her first album. It's an oldie, but it's that whole album is just her manifesting her career and like look where it got her. It's a really great song talking about how she's at the top and it's amazing. I actually referenced it in my last post.
Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah. I'm not really good at posting content at all. I actually strongly dislike it, but I know if I want to be in this career, that's what I have to do. So before I would just archive all my posts because I was like, I don't want people looking at any of this stuff, but I know that I have to do it if I want to get out there. So I'll put together a photo dump and I try to put a little symbolism in it. So like with that one song in particular, I put together a picture of me from wrestling. I put together like my room because I actually never really had like my own room before. I kind of did but didn't, so this is like a huge accomplishment for me. I put like a selfie just randomly, and then I put a picture of me as a little kid, and then I put that song. It was just kind of showing where I got since I was a kid. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a wrestler. I finally have my own room. I've grown up. The selfie, the song, I'm the best. It just all kind of ties in together. Other people don't get it, but that's okay. I get it.
No,
So
yeah, it's like your journey, your evolution of, I mean, you've come so far and you are the best, even though you're still ever evolving and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I mean, be proud of yourself. So you've come a long way. And plus the photo dumps or carousels, whatever you want to call them, are really good for engagement. And too, that's one of the few things I know about social media, like promotion. I'm not too good with that either on Instagram anyways. I've only had one post this whole year on Instagram.
Yeah, it's hard, and I would try and go and post things, but it kind of circles back to that confidence thing, thinking it wouldn't be good enough, so I'd end up deleting it. But I know I have to just post, put my phone away, and that's what I try and do, because like once I start thinking it, I swirl. So just got to put an end to it. And,
I mean, go ahead.
know.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. We're all our own worst critics, I think. But you have some like very cool things that you've shared on social media. Like you have some pretty rad tattoos or gnarly tattoos, I would say. But I'm very curious to know more about the reasoning behind your Pac-Man ghost tattoo.
It's a Friday the 13th tattoo. There's no reasoning. I was just like, oh, little Pac-Man ghost, how cute. I want it. Funny that you say rad tattoos. I have rad on my
Oh my
lip.
God, I love that.
Yeah, I wish I was like, this means this. I just kind of put it on me. I'm like, yep, that'll be there forever.
On your
Yeah.
torso too, what is it? It says live something. What else does it say on your side?
That was my first tattoo, and I got it after my high school graduation, the day of actually. It says live in the moment.
I mean, I feel like that's we were talking about being spontaneous, you traveling cross country. I feel like that works for you.
And it was, my first tattoo ever. I was such a different person at 18 than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
I would not get that now. But I look at it and I'm like, yep, that was my first tattoo. There
Perhaps
it
it was foreshadowing for that
is. So,
spontaneous move.
I definitely think so. I like to look at things as full circle
Mhm.
moments. That's what I mainly go for in wrestling. When I meet people who I used to watch on TV, playing the video games, I'm like, this is that full circle moment right here, I live for that mostly in wrestling, which is the funny part. I don't look to make like, um, what's the word? How can I say this? I'm more into those moments where I thought of it as a kid and now it's happening kind of thing. Those are what I mostly look forward to when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah, again, it's that full circle moments that only like you and like you have chills when it happens.
Yeah,
Like
every time.
I've
I
had a few of those.
it's crazy. It's a great feeling though.
Definitely again one to be proud of,
Yeah.
especially too. And I really hope to get to see the day that you meet Tori Wilson and you can have that true full
Oh, yeah.
circle moment. I'm looking forward to it. It'll happen. It'll
Oh,
happen.
it's going to. We're gonna manifest.
And you tweeted out the other day talking about tattoos. You might have some plans for your next tattoo.
I do. And it's just as stupid as all my other ones. I'm just kidding. It'll be up soon,
Okay.
I'm I'm pondering it just a little bit more, but it's probably gonna happen within the next week. You will be
Okay.
seeing it on Twitter for sure.
You look forward to seeing it. Now, do you have a location in mind where you want to put it?
I wanted to do like the Rihanna, right here.
Okay.
But then I was like, man, if I get like my gear might cut it off. So I put that on hold for now. I'm thinking right here,
Oh yeah,
and
you have one on one side and then you'll have one on the other.
yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta even it out a little bit. It can't be like half half. Although I do have my Coraline tattoo right here, so it'll be a little evened out hopefully.
I think
It's not
so
a lot
too.
side though.
I think there's some, I mean, just in general, but I think there's a lot of wrestlers with a lot of really cool tattoos. So
Yeah.
I'm just curious for you, who do you think in pro wrestling has some really cool tattoos?
Hmm. Who do I think? Ruby Soho for sure. I think she's like the most badass. I wish I could rock tattoos. Like I wish I could put them all over my body too, but I'm just like, man, where do I start? I think she definitely has them. I look at her tattoos and I'm like, oh man, that girl's badass. Um, Roman Reigns, of course, all the tribal tattoos I think are
Mhm.
really cool. Um, every time I get asked a question, I just blank out on like
It's okay. I always think of like maybe because I feel like it's iconic for him now is Randy Orton with his winged tattoo on his back. That's just what I always think of.
yeah.
But I'm very curious, like, because you see a lot more wrestlers and work with them than I do, and there might not be some that we know of out there. And I know you have a couple, so I was just very curious.
Hmm. You know what? I really can't think of anything at the moment.
That's okay.
Are you an avid TikToker?
Watching TikTok, yes.
Okay.
Making TikTok content, no.
The TikTok where it's like, come on, brain, think of things. Come on,
Mhm.
brain.
Roman Reigns and Ruby Soho though definitely have some really cool ink on them.
Oh,
Definitely do.
absolutely.
And I mean, I look forward to seeing what you have next. But to close things out, I'm very curious too to know your origin story or the meaning behind the Macdaddy Milo Matters name.
So, I actually dropped the matters part because I was like, Milo, it just rolls off the tongue like
Mhm.
share. So actually dropping that helped me find myself a little more, because when I first came about the scene, I was like this little tomboy chick, and then that was my name, like Milo Matters, and then I actually shifted a lot from that. I am very opposite from that now, so I figured I just shed her completely. I just go by Milo now. Macdaddy, that was my username since like middle school. That's followed me. That was my username forever. I just decided to incorporate that into my character now. I look up to Sasha Banks, you know, how she has her boss and how
Yeah.
she huge pride, ego. Like I love that. And that's what I kind of want to incorporate the Macdaddy in with Milo. I just need to get there and find my own way of doing that, you know? So yeah, that was a name that I've had since middle school, given to me by myself. So it's not that cool.
I like that though, but there's nobody else doing it and you're owning it. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like, is it a, what's it called when you have the same first letter of every word?
alliteration.
That's, yes,
Mhm.
alliteration. I like the alliteration behind it. So it ended up working out. I got, you know, Milo. I thought that it was just something super different. No one's gonna have it. So went and dropped the I, put a Y, and that's who I am.
Now, before I let you go, can you please tell the listeners where they can find you on all your social medias?
Of course. My Instagram is at Macdaddy. That's Macdaddyy. Twitter, Macdaddy Milo. That's Macdaddymylo.
That's correct. And thank you.
You know all the
Yeah, a
lettering.
lot of letters. I hate that some usernames are taken because I wanted certain ones too, and they're just taken.
Yeah, exactly. So some I had to do extra A's or extra D's, extra Y's, you know, I can't keep track.
You do what you got to do, though. We'll have it in the description below where you can find Milo on Twitter and Instagram and all the good stuff. So I got you, Milo. I got you.
Love that. I'm over here spelling and it's like right there. Okay, that was embarrassing.
You're good, girl. I got you. And of course, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much to special guest Veda for being a part of this episode as well. Oh, she's reappeared. Oh, we see you. But Milo, seriously, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It means a lot. And hopefully me and Veda will be back next year with more accomplishments.
You got some, first of all, you need to capture some tag team championships with Viva. We got to get that down. And but you're doing amazing things right now. So I have no doubt.
Thank you so much. Oh, I had such a pleasure talking to you.